Where did you say you worked at again?
Yeah, I just got hired at Arby's 6 months ago. I was at McDonald's, and at some point I was at Taco Bell. Does it even really matter?
Yeah, it does, because we need to see a 2-year stable work history. What about any cash in your savings or checking account?
Yeah, Angelo, I don't believe in those banks.
If you don't believe in banks, do you believe in credit cards?
Well, I am an authorized user on my friend's credit card.
So, listen, it doesn't sound like you're really in a position to purchase a property right now. There are things that you should really have in order before you buy a property, and that is definitely good credit. You want to have stable income. You want to have cash in your savings account, and you want to be prepared going into this home purchase, because if you're not prepared, this isn't just the end of you spending money. Once you purchase that property, you're going to have a lot of other expenses as well. So you need to be fully prepped going in. Look, sometimes people come to me and they are 100% well equipped to go ahead and start the home buying process. They have their things in order. They have their job, they got their savings, they got their credit in order. Everything, the stars have aligned for them. And some people, the stars haven't aligned yet, or they're in orbit, they're waiting to be aligned. And that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. Some people come to me, they want to be there, but they're not there. We can help you get there. And having a game plan to get you there is vital to success. You can't just on a whim on a Saturday afternoon look at a property and be like, oh shit, I want to buy a property. What do I need to do? You need to have a proper game plan in place. You need to be working with a mortgage consultant to plan accordingly to what you can afford, if you can afford anything at that time. And if you can't afford it, if your credit's not ready, or if your job isn't that stable, we can put you on a roadmap to get there, to make sure that when you are ready, when you do want to make an offer on that property on a Saturday afternoon, that you have everything together. You have your income, you have your assets, you have your credit, everything is ready to go to pull the trigger to buy. Now, not everybody can be there, but you need to definitely prepare to make sure that when that time comes, you can be there. And there's a lot of things that you can do. You want to make sure you have a good stable work history. I mean, if you're jumping from job to job to job and it's variable income, hourlies, you're working 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, 15 hours, it's very hard to nail down what kind of income on a weekly or monthly basis that you're going to sustain over and over again, month after month. So having a consistent work history is imperative to success when you're trying to purchase a home. If you're salaried, that's one thing, but we work with many variable income borrowers that have hours that are all over the map. And if you keep changing jobs from job to job, and those hours are varying from each job, it's very hard to nail down what your income is. So to a lender, they're not going to really be keen on lending that money because they don't quite understand or can pinpoint exactly what you're going to make on a month-to-month basis. Now, there are certain things that you can do to lower the risk factors, which is have money in the bank. You could have, a 401ks, IRA, stocks, bonds, checking and savings, to where lenders they call them risk factors. Lenders like to see that you have some money in the bank in case of emergency. It's called reserves, okay? They want to see if you have how many months of payments you have after the loan closes, and PITIA, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. They want to see how much money you have, how many months you could sustain making that mortgage payment in case you lost that job. So if you have a lower credit score and you are fixing it up, and then you have a stable income, and you do have 6 to 8 to 12 months of reserves in the bank, that's going to be a better look for you when it comes to financing that property, going to a lender versus you having maybe 1 month of reserves left over in the bank after closing costs and down payment and all that. In 1 month, that's going to look not so good when it comes to a lender. So having these things prepared beforehand, knowing what you have to do, knowing is half the battle, right? I mean, it's an old saying. It's not till you know it's Well, it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? But in this particular case, it is what you know and what you need to do to make sure that you have all those pieces of the puzzle to make sure you can get into that property once you are ready. And so strategically game planning instead of just going in it on a whim is much more advantageous to you, to your success into purchasing a home, for your first property and second, third, and fourth property if that's what you choose.
Angelo, everything about this video is someone that's stepping in and they actually don't know that, oh, I want to buy a home, but I actually can't. And so you're having to tell them, hey, bro, maybe we need to take some steps and we can come back later and actually get you in a home. Initially, though, if someone wants to buy a home in, let's just say, Charlotte, North Carolina, and they can't afford that area, what's your first answer, your first solution to that problem?
Well, let's look outside of the Charlotte area. Charlotte is a little bit of an expensive area, especially downtown. There's a lot of places outside on the outskirts of Charlotte that are much more affordable. I mean, you have, Jesus, just name a few.
Plaza Midwood.
You have that's a little pricey. Matthews is a great place, a little bit less pricey. There's some very expensive price, some pricey places in Huntersville, but outside of that, at the Lake Norman, you have Statesville, Iredell. You have all these areas that you could potentially go to. You have Waxhaw, Monroe, Indian Trail. There's so many places on the outskirts of Charlotte that will bring that price point down. You just may have to travel a little bit, or if you have a remote work, who cares, right? Just drive on into Charlotte on a Sunday afternoon and watch the Panthers game, right? There's a lot of things to do. A quick Uber ride, right? But there's places that are more affordable than just Charlotte. So don't try to think outside the box, because you're going to have to now and into the future as we can see where things are going. That's what you're going to have to do if you want to purchase a property, right? And I'm seeing, Gavin, and even just right up the street from me, there's an Aldi. It's a little grocery store. It's kind of like a discount grocery store. Yeah. Behind it, there's this new subdivision, and I was like, damn. Well, wonder how much the houses are here. Well, guess what? It's a rental house. If you want to, it's a community to rent. So that's what we're seeing too. And that's what we're seeing more and more of. So if you want to purchase, it may not be in Charlotte. If you want to purchase now, if you have the means to get a game plan together, or else you're going to just potentially rent for the rest of your life. And, for some people that may be something that's for them. But, for a majority of the people, they want to own, they want to build a family, they want to create some wealth, and purchasing a primary residence is the number one generator of wealth for families.
I love that, Angelo. And a lot of you don't know probably what your situation is. So if you're actually interested in buying a home, Angelo, they have to talk to you so that you can help them game plan that. And I got to be honest, from some personal perspective here, I don't know if I would have bought a home a year from now with, how fast homes are appreciating nowadays, right? I don't know if I would have been comfortable doing that. I know I was comfortable a year ago, and right here was the last straw, but I was okay with buying in Maricopa City. I would love to be in Scottsdale. I would love to be, in Phoenix, but I had to be okay, that is not for me right now. Let's go to a city that's up and coming so that one day I can put a renter in there, and that could just be a property for me, right? So there are some strategies that you need to talk about with you, Angelo, that people can come to you and be Angelo, I want to buy a house, but here's my situation. What can I do? Or I want to buy, an investment property. What should I do?
Right.
So that you can game plan that with you, right, Angelo?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You have to have a game plan. I have many clients right now that they're in my pipeline. They're wanting to purchase after the holidays into the new year, and they want to start. They want to know what they can afford, what some different sales prices look like when it comes to payments. And so they're not just real quick, oh God, I like this house, how much is the payment, and just get shell shocked on what they can look for, can afford. They're game planning. They're saying, I have no idea what I can afford, but my payment, I just got the phone with a client a little while ago. He wants his payment anywhere from $2,000 to $2,600. $2,600 is maybe push a little bit $2,600. So I put three comparisons together, 300, I think it's 340 and 360 of sales price ranges. And here's your payment for each. let's go. Let's start looking. And his perfect. Now I can go over my finances with my wife, and start looking for properties in that ballpark, and knowing I can probably go above 2,600 a little bit, but 2,600 is kind of where I'd like to land. So, but just knowing what those payments look like and what the sales price ranges look like with the down payment available to them is key, because you don't want to be looking at a $500,000, $600,000 property saying, oh shit, I want to buy one of those properties, but then you can't even come close to it and just get your feelings hurt. So we don't like people getting their feelings hurt over here. We like to just kind of be straight up, be like, hey, this is what you can afford, comfortably, and on paper. And here's the thing too, on paper you can probably afford more than you feel comfortable with, but it's not our job to just put you in that loan. It's our job to just to school you, to kind of show you, say, hey, this is what the payments that you've asked for, this is what you feel comfortable with, and this is what us as loan officers make sure that you're comfortable, because I'm not making that payment every month. Right. You are, and once you sign, that's it. There's no take backsies, right? You can't just be like, hey, sorry, I don't want this house. It doesn't work like that. So there's just, going into it, game plan it, and just be confident that, and know a budget, have your budget, and if you need to squeak that budget a little bit, you can, but just know what you can going into it, to make it happen. So once again, the time is now, man. I mean, it's not getting any better. So, I mean, hopefully, since after the election, the rates will kind of start trickling down a bit. The 10-year T is at its lowest point in the last couple of weeks. It's like 4.1, 4.2, the yield right now. So 4.1, 4.2. So hopefully they're starting to come down, and we'll be off to the races. But once again, then you're gonna have everybody coming out of the woodwork. So get in while you can.
Yeah, just know whatever house you want to buy now, it's going to be more expensive next year. So
that's right.
maybe think about that little data point right there before you. Right. I'm going to wait till next year. It's like, well, that home's going to be more expensive. So if you're okay with that, go ahead. Instead of getting a single family home, you might be lucky to get a condo in Charlotte. So good luck with that one. Put your family in a condo. See how much your wife likes that. Anyways, team, I hope you got some valuable here. Make sure you leave a like. If you need any help, you can click the pin link down below. There's also some info there to contact Angelo if you need help. Team, you have to start somewhere. Start with Angelo.
That's right.
Start with Angelo. Team, make sure you like this video. We will see you guys next week for next week's video. Bye.